Well, there's absolutely no denying that the Talica reel from Shimano packs a big punch. They're a small reel, lightweight, high speed, and the drag cam that they run in them means that they can punch out loads of drag pressure, more than what a reel this size should be able to do. This here is a 25. The 50 is so popular for, marlin fishing, swordfish, all that. But this here, as a little reel, is totally awesome for your marlin and your jumbo bluefin and things like that down here in the southern states of Victoria. And they come with this little knob handle, which is really good if you're fishing, I suppose, your normal tackle. But what I'm doing here is I've got braid backing on this. I've got 500 metres of 50-pound braid. I've got a 200-metre top shot of 50-pound mono. And I've got my strike drag on the Talica set at 10 kilos. So we can push it way up over that when we go over the preset sort of strike area. But to do that and to make this reel just that little bit better, you can retrofit it with a big T-bar handle like this. What that does is it gives you a lot more cranking power under really heavy drag pressure. So it's quite a simple process. You do need to get yourself a few parts to do it. So I'll just hold this up here quickly. So there's the part number for the handle if you want to get one. And also these are the other parts that you're going to need, because there's a few different size screws that you need to swap it over and things like that to make it fit. There we go. I'll just drop one straight away. So I've got the parts here. I'll show you quickly how to do this. It's really quite simple. First thing, drop your reel into free spool, get yourself a nice little fine Phillips head screwdriver. And what we're going to do is pop open the casing for the 2-speed system. All right, just undo these screws. There's 2 of those. It's a fairly simple process. I like to stand the reel up on its side like this, makes it easier to work. And then from that point there, undo this one a little bit more. All right, I just find it easier rather than trying to get the screws out. You just lift that piece straight off like that. Leave those screws in it, put those off to the side. All right, and then you've got the 2-speed mechanism just there. What we need to do is remove that button there, or this lever here. That's what pushes the reel back into high gear. When you push that in, that goes into low gear. There's a tiny little spring in there, so you don't want to lose that. So what I do is we're just going to wriggle this out. I put my finger over the top of the screw so it doesn't go flying across the room. All right, open that up, and what I like to do is lay my parts out in sequence so I know when it comes time to put them back together that they will go back together. Then you're going to remove this black plastic housing that just sits there. We'll lay that one down and that's going to be replaced. All right, then I'll get my shifter. I'm just going to undo this nut here, just crack that seal like that, and then it should come out fairly easily. We just undo that like so. Now we've pulled that pin out, and that's your one that drops the reel into low gear. I'll set that aside because we're going to need that again. Remove that handle, and this is an awesome handle, so you don't have to do this, but like I said, if you swap over to the big T-bar handle, it just changes this reel for, like, if you want to fish heavy drag with it. From there, we're going to drop this back on. All right, first thing we're going to do is get that 2-speed pin that I pulled out just before. We're going to put that back in. We just wind that down like so, just like that. Now the only tricky bit is you'll need to get the nut here tightened up to just the right point, because it needs to line up the plastic housing with these screw holes so that it all works. So I'll just keep winding that down. All right, that's on there. I'll just give it just a little tighten for now. There we go, and they lock up pretty solid. And then from here, I'll get my plastic housing. We'll take that out. You'll notice this one's that clearish sort of colour. The one that we took off is black. All right, open this up, slide that out. That's the piece there. Now that is going to sit back over here. And what we're aiming to do here is line up that housing with those 2 tiny little screw holes there. From that point, what we can do is get our lever with that spring on it. It's got plenty of grease on it so the spring hasn't fallen off. And then I will drop the spring into this little groove here. That's where that spring has to fit into, just there. All right, so we're going to drop that into that and then drop that pin back into place. And that's sitting there nicely, or it will, right, as you can see there. So we've got the spring sitting in there and that little pin holding the lever just there. And from this point I'll get my next piece, which is the new housing. And the housing's no bigger for this 2-speed button, but what it's got is slightly bigger screw holes. So I'll drop that back on like that. Everything should line up. We've got the 2 new screws, which are a little bit fatter than the ones that were used in the 25 handle. Screw this in. Obviously just a really simple process, but we've changed this into a tiny little but very powerful game reel that will catch all sorts of fish. So you can see there it's got that big handle on it now. It's obviously an oversized handle, gives you a lot more grip, but it gives you that real cranking power when you need it under that heavy drag, as I was mentioning. So there you go, a quick retrofit on a Talica 25. That's the Talica 50 handle. They're the parts that you need. Hope you like it.